What's up, YouTube? So we are around, what was it, 22nd of December, like maybe 6 weeks post-show, something like that. 6 weeks post-show, let's say that. And yeah, just did my check-in for AJ, and it's now my second meal of the day. It's my pre-workout meal, so we're fully into the off-season now, and we're going to train pool today. I'm going to show you that session. I'm going to do a voiceover, and yeah, I'm just going to basically, whilst doing that, give you guys like a really good run through of like how we've set up this off-season, what we want to achieve, and then giving you like my tips on how you should set up your off-season and like the best ways to, you know, make sure that your off-season is successful, you know, you run smoothly. I want to discuss that. I think it's a really good topic now. I'm into the off-season, you know, the post-show phase is kind of over. I'm recovered, I'm in a good spot now to train hard, and it'll be good for you to really get to know like what I'm trying to achieve through this stage of you know, the off-season stage now that I'm in. So yeah, we've got 100 grams of rice, 200 grams chicken, veg, 25 grams of nut butter, usual pre-workout meal. I've actually got AJ's check-in right here. I've been watching. I've just finished that. I'm going to watch some YouTube. I've done my client check-ins this morning, and yeah, going to train. We've got deadlifts today, which is exciting. It's always a good session doing deadlifts. I'm going to see how I feel though, because I'm not 100% right now. I'm a bit unwell, and I don't want to batter myself into Christmas. But we are taking 4 days off actually after tomorrow, which will be a useful devolume, which is much needed, because I've been carrying a lot of fatigue. That post-show phase has been a tricky one. Despite the training going really well, just been pretty tired. I think, you know, all the travel around Vegas and all that stuff, and then getting into heavy training and stuff, it's taking its toll. So much needed rest coming up as well. But yeah, I'm gonna eat this, make my pre-workout, drink, intro, all that stuff, and head to the gym for pool.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video, another MBW video. We are in for legs in a very cold and quite quiet.
So yeah, just made my intro. Obviously I'll put more water in than this, but yeah, I always mix it in like a 1.5 litre bottle, just so it's just a way of making sure you're just going to be really hydrated. And it always tastes best, I think, with this much water, otherwise it can be really strong. But what I've got in here is carb drive, so this is Conte Sports, cyclic dextrin. Really good, you can get it at Elite Sups. Use my code PAL10. You can get all these things. So CMP, really nice EAA, CMP loaded, essential amino acids, 10 grams of that, 25 grams of this, and then 5 grams of creatine as well. This is the strawberry laces flavour, which is so good. And then I'm gonna make a pre-workout now, and I'm gonna have, so yeah, I'm gonna do, this is probably like my favourite pre-workout combo right now, honestly. Try it, it's so good. So the best pre-workout in the game, hands down, has to be MV Pre. Literally nothing beats it, like it is so good. I'm going to do a full scoop because I've got 2 sessions left, and I'll go away for 4 days where I'm just going to have no caffeine for a full 4 days. That will help with my tolerance, so I thought I may as well just go crazy right now, and I'm not feeling great today, so I need that extra boost. So 1 scoop of that, and then hands down the best pump pre I've used, Vascu Max. So good, I love it. Every pump I get from this is just insane. You can order both of these at Elite Sups. So go on to Elite Sups UK, use my code PAL10, and oh shit, you will not be disappointed. Honestly, really good pre-workout, very good pump pre. Like the pumps I'm getting from this are just insane. So yeah, and if you wonder about flavours, this is Gusher Blast, but Candy Necklace is the best, unbelievable flavour. I've had MV Pre for a long time because it's that good. This has been my pre for a few years now, and it probably always will be. So yeah, full scoop of this and full scoop of this. Right, so we are at the gym and ready to get into a pool session. I'm going to have to see how I'm feeling as the session goes, because I'm not 100% like I said before, and definitely going to devolume the deadlifts, just because basically what I'm doing, I didn't actually say, is because I mentioned earlier how I'm going away for 4 days, I'm not training for 4 days. It means that I want to get a leg session in tomorrow, and before I go away and take time off. That's the one trouble with my split, because it's a 10-day split. It means that if you miss a session or you push a session back and then you take time off, it can really push back like the amount of time that's spent between you hitting that movement. Like it could be like a 15-day period otherwise, and I want to get hacks in. But if I want to do that and actually be able to do it, I need to devolume the deadlifts. I can't go to failure on deadlifts and then do legs the next day. So I'm going to devolume the deadlifts, and then if I'm feeling up to it, I will do full intensity for the rest of the session. I'm just being mindful of like the fact I don't feel like perfect right now. I've got a bit of a cold, so don't want to just batter myself, and I want to be able to train legs tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, feeling up for it, feeling excited to train, which is always a good sign. So yeah, it should be a very good session. I will catch you in there with a voiceover, and we'll be discussing how to set up the best off season.
Hey guys, coming with the voiceover for this session and running you guys through how to set up an off season, what I'm trying to achieve in this off season, and basically like my 5 biggest hits for you to build muscle. So just excuse me doing these weird glute bridges and hip thrusts and all this stuff. I just do a lot of mobility work before deadlifts. I found it helps a lot with getting things firing. Really helps with like firing your glutes. So I definitely would recommend doing stuff like that if you have time to add that on to the start of your session. So yeah, obviously it's been a while now. So that's why I didn't upload last week. I was having some time off. It was really nice to switch off a bit with family, but now we're back to it, back with the weekly uploads. I will keep that coming for you guys now. I just needed a short break, but yeah, so this was a really good session, but I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'd rather get into discussing like what I'm trying to do in this off season and what you should carry through into your off season. So the first thing that I really would suggest for you, and it's also important for me, that's why we're not going to be pushing bodyweight up too quick now, is the starting point of your growing phase. You need your starting point to be a good one in terms of the condition you're in. Firstly, like that is very important. Your condition needs to be a good one because it gives you more time to be able to stay in that phase, and keeping you responsive to food. The classic term insulin sensitivity, it is important for sure. And also the starting point in terms of how is your training, how is your sleep, how is your routine. So when I'm looking at my clients and stuff, I'm trying to make sure that before we start pushing bodyweight upwards, their training needs to be good. Their execution needs to be good. It needs to be in a point in which they can train hard and create a very good stimulus. If that's not there, why waste weeks pushing bodyweight up, not growing as well as we could do, right? So, have a look at that. Make sure your starting point is good in terms of your condition, making sure that you're not, starting where things aren't optimized. You want everything, all the pieces of the puzzle for bodybuilding to be aligned. And that point will kind of resonate as I go through this voiceover. And with that as well, the second point being you need to be steady through your growing phase. It's the same sort of point as your starting point, because we want ultimately to be in this phase for as long as we can do. We want to be turning up to the gym, getting stronger for as long as we can. So if your starting point's bad, or if you're pushing up too quickly, you're going to therefore limit your ability to stay in that phase for a long time. Once you start dieting, you're not going to be building muscle tissue really, and you're not going to be taking progressions that are going to allow you to drive a stimulus that's going to, force on new tissue. So make sure that your body weight is going up, but at a rate that allows you to stay in this phase for a good time. I'd like to see clients stay in a growing phase for, well over 6 months, maybe 8 months, because things are still going well for the client at that point, because they're just still turning up, just getting stronger and stronger. Building muscle naturally takes time, so you don't want to rush it. You want to stay in that phase for a while and keep turning up, getting strong. The third point, which is a pretty obvious one, but it is very important, I can't stress it enough, is nail your recovery tools. Nail your nutrition, your sleep, and your hydration, especially your hydration going into the session every day. Make sure that's standardized and consistent so you're fully hydrated in the session. It is very important. Nail your nutrition to allow you to, like I just said, get body weight to climb. You need to be in a surplus. And how do you know if you're in a surplus or not if you're not tracking your food? How do you know that you're having the right amount of macros in terms of protein, carbs and fats if you're not tracking your food? So make sure your nutrition is allowing you to see body weight climb at that steady rate, we've just discussed as well. That is really important for building muscle, because obviously food is everything here, right? You need to know what you're eating. And yeah, the fourth point here is a really important point and really like the pillar of building muscle, especially naturally, because you need to have this desire. It's the desire to keep turning up and, getting obsessed with chasing progressions. You need to be obsessed with your lifts. Not to the point where you start losing your form and you're stubborn and stuff like that, but you need a bit of stubbornness. You need to be determined. You need to just love to train and want to be stronger with those lifts. Nail the basics, keep turning up, keep doing the same lifts every week and chase your numbers, chase progressions. Once you get obsessed with that, you're going to build muscle. And it is so important because it's making sure that every single week we're driving the adequate stimulus to force on muscle. If you're getting stronger and you're not pushing up the resistance, you're not going to be creating that same stimulus every single week, and you're not going to grow continuously. If you can, let's say, for example, you've got someone bicep curling 40 kg dumbbells. Now, obviously, that's ridiculous, right? But they're going to have big biceps, right? They will have big biceps. So that's how you need to view it, guys. It's like your strength will reflect your physique. And if it doesn't reflect your physique, something is going wrong with your training, your form. So, yeah, you need to make sure your training reflects your physique, and you need to chase progressions, and you need to be strong with good form. And, yeah, so the last point as well, which kind of is again it relates to the previous point, is you need to analyze your training as well. You need to film your sets. Form is very important when you're a natural, especially because you need your logbook and your numbers to be able to allow you to understand what is happening in the gym. What areas are you not progressing as much? What areas are you progressing more so? And how do you know that if you're not analyzing your training? Because if your form is really good on one movement, but then your form changes a lot on another movement and it isn't standardized, that's a really important word in bodybuilding, standardization of your lifts. Then how do you know if your numbers reflect added muscle? For example, take this incline dumbbell curl, right? Say next week I just start throwing it about like crazy, and I don't really realize that I'm doing that, but I'm doing it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got stronger, my biceps are growing. Well, actually, maybe I'm just not staying true to myself, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. And for you to stop that from happening, you really need to analyze your training. So yeah, these are basically the 5 most important points for building muscle for anyone. Yes, the point stands more so naturally, because if you don't do these things, for some people, they may not even be able to build much muscle at all. When you're assisted, you can kind of get away with it and you can build some muscle without doing things properly because you're assisted, right? But then again, if you're assisted, this point still stands, because if you're going to risk your health and stuff, then you need to make sure you're getting everything else nailed outside of that. So yeah, this is the basic things that you just need to, the basic things are the things you really need to keep focusing on. I know that you may have heard these points before, guys, but it's very easy to forget how important they are. Because if you nail these 5 things, you're going to build a lot of muscle tissue. That is just fact. So yeah, that is how I found what has allowed me to grow the most. And if I was to take one point from those that's the most important, it is the 4th point of getting obsessed with training and training hard. You need to train hard. If you don't train hard, then you may as well, everything else goes out the window, right? So you need to be creating that stimulus. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that voiceover, just a bit more informational and stuff, discussing how to add on muscle tissue because we all want that, of course. But yeah, this is a very good session, a decent pull session just before I executed that devolume. It was a weird one post show because numbers were progressing really well, but I felt battered at the same time, and now I've took time off and feeling recovered. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you with my post-workout meal.
So yeah, got my last, well not last meal, post-workout meal, which is just 135 grams of cereal, 100 grams of banana, and 50 grams of whey. So yeah, I just thought I'd wrap up this video with that. The small spoon is gone. Now we're deep into the off season. Well, we're not deep, but you know what I mean. Now we're into the off season. It's a bigger spoon now, and yeah, just gonna enjoy this. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. A bit more of like a day in the life sort of video of the off season, where we were just discussing like how to approach the off season, how we're approaching this off season. You know, the secret to having a very good growing phase. So thank you for watching, guys. Please drop a like and, you know, subscribe if you're new, all that stuff. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. See you soon.